So the book talks about some things we can do to ensure that we have some positive influence in our lives. And it says, first of all, is that we can tune into the difficult feelings rather than ignoring them. There are things in our lives that uh we that would think we're struggling with, rather than ignoring them, we can face them. I know over the weekend I did put in a post, and I said that the things you are scared of, the things you run away from, you give power to, right? The things you embrace, you're able to conquer, you're able to overcome. If there's any area of your life that it's not amounting to where it should be, or you're struggling with, it's not something to run away from. It's something to address. Like for me, like I said, it'd be a nightmare for me to stand in front of a crowd and make a presentation. But today I can do that. I can do that with little or no qualms. I mean, it's not my natural disposition, but I've grown myself that I can do that. I've learned the secret of being able to do that, by practice and by understanding what it takes to do that. One of the secret to being, my nature is not the nature that likes to be in public, right? It's not one that would stand in public. I can make noise in private when I'm with the people I'm comfortable with. In a big crowd, I'm probably not that one that wants to be the center of attraction in a big crowd. My energy will run out because I don't renew my energy in a crowd. I renew my energy in solitude, right? So I can only get engaged with so many people before my energy runs out. But however, I have to be able to have enough energy to do whatever it is that I need to do, especially when it comes to the marketplace, a business sector, or something in the workplace, that I've had to learn how to do, and one of the things you do is to be good at what you are doing and to focus on what you have to give, not what people have to say about what you want to do or not, but you can focus on areas of your life and overcome those areas. You know, I've uh, I've come from a place where it's difficult for me to meet new people, especially the opposite sex, and get engaged in some discussion. Uh, but I've overcome that. Today I can easily do that. But it's come by learning, it's come by practice, you know. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Is there any area of your life you've had to work on to overcome?
Mm, well, not really. I can just say like the family matters that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, hey.
Okay, so like the family matters that we've been talking about. In fact, it was even last week I wanted to ask that, but there was no chance again. The issue of family being I don't know. I wanted to quote, but I might not be able to quote exactly now. But there is this statement that okay, we are a family, not because not because we have the good works or we have the good deeds, but because we accept one another. So, but what I'm trying to bring out is the issue of acceptance of each member of the family. Now, it's sometimes the issues that, this action or this attitude, or maybe it has become an habit. It's not good. This is a family member coming up from a family member. And now, this is not right, but you have accepted it. So, my concern is how do we work on issues like that or areas like that when we have a member of a family which we have no choice than to accept, but yet we know that there are actually things that it pissed somebody off in, and it's becoming an habit, or it's more or less like this is this person, so let's just leave him, or do we just fold hands and just let it be and keep. I don't know whether you get
I get
the
what you're
issue of.
trying to say. I get what you're
Yeah.
trying to say. So, you know, so Paul would say it this way, says to everyone I became, I stoop myself low so that I can win that person, right?
Okay.
He says to the Romans, I became like Romans, right? So it's when it comes, you cannot change anybody, especially when the person, even my three kids right now, I cannot change, right? Uh, you can maybe change people when they're still very young and they cannot reason. But when people start to reason, you can't change them. All you can do is influence them, help them see what is right, right? They have to be the ones to make a choice as to whether they want to do the right or wrong, right? My three kids now, all of them above 21. I cannot make them do what they don't want to. Even when they were less than that, my students are just as stubborn. My children are just as stubborn as I am. If they make up their mind that they don't want to do anything, they will not do it all. I, I mean, I can cane them and force them, but inside their hearts, they are not doing it, irrespective of what they are doing on the outside, right? So it's not as much as forcing them, it's as much as helping them to see why, right? And for an adult, you cannot. I mean, I can't change my wife. My wife is just as stubborn as I have, right? She set up her mind to do something, you know, and it's even difficult for me, especially as a counselor, as a teacher. I'm careful. I tell my wife she's an endangered species. You know why? Because I might know what is right, but I can't tell her because
Mm,
I'm in between two places whereby if I tell her, she might think I'm saying it because of what I'm going to benefit from it. So I'm really careful the way I talk to her. It's easier for me to talk to someone else, but than to talk to her because she might take my words for granted. She might just, you know, she knows me such that she probably sometimes can't see the anointing, So but the key thing is in a family setup, right? All you can do is help the person see what is right. All you can do is tell and leave it, exemplify it. But my children are who they are because of who they see me live, right? They see me. So more than what anything I can tell my children is what they see in me and they like and they see it working and thereby it influences their life, right? Uh,
mhm,
so like for instance, I'm in my secondary school group, it's not a Christian group. So not everybody's a Christian. There are people that do things that are crazy, right? That things that are unchristian. They know where I stand, right? But I cannot be because of me then stop them from being who they don't want to be, right? They respect me for who I am, but it's also up to me to respect them for who they are. They are you get what I'm trying to say? They are hello. Are you
I'm
following
with
me?
you.
All
Yes,
right.
yes.
They are adults, right? I believe in heaven. I tell them about heaven, but they could choose to believe heaven or not believe heaven. I can't force it on them, right? And what brings us
Mm,
together is not the heaven. What brings us together is because we went to the same secondary school, right? So I focus on the things that bring us together while not losing who I am. I
mm,
also expose myself too much to the things that will corrupt me, right? I live the life of who I am while focusing on what brings us together, right? I don't necessarily focus too much on the things that don't bring us together because that's not the reason why we're gathered together. But in focusing on the things that bring us together, they know and they see who I am. So it's up to them to be whoever they don't choose to become is a decision that they have to make. I don't know if I'm making any.
Yes, 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 yeah.
Yeah. When I lived in California, I attended a Calvinist church, right? Which is also they also call them the Reformed theology, right? I don't believe in all the Calvinist tenets, right? I, I, I- a lot of Puritans that I believe in and love are Calvinistic in tendency, all right? You know who a Calvinist is? You know, I've heard of Reformed theology.
Yes, the John Calvin
Yeah,
followers. Yeah, I know them.
yeah, yes, yes. I mean, John Calvin, I love him. And there are things that he says that I follow, right? I love John Calvin. But John Calvin didn't get everything correct. There are
Mm-hmm,
some,
mm-hmm.
right? I love Charles Spurgeon. I follow a lot of things that he said, but it wasn't 100% correct. There were some things that he had wrong. I love Charles, what's his name? Charles Stanley.
Wesley.
You know,
Okay.
Charles Stanley. I love Charles Stanley. But there were some things that Charles Stanley, because he has a company's tendency also that he did not get correct, right? I love Charles Wesley also, right? I love people, but I'm not going to be an idol to anyone. The Bible remains my standard, right? I love Kumuyi also, right? But
Mm.
I'm not going to follow Kumuyi to the detriment of what I believe the Bible is saying. So there will be places where we disagree. Do you understand?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
The places where we disagree. But when I come in a place of fellowship with Kumuyi, when I come to a place of fellowship with Charles Stanley, when I come to a fellowship with John Calvin, right? I focus on where we agree, not where we don't agree.
Mm.
Focus on the Bible that binds us together. We're able to fellowship as long as we focus on the Bible that binds us together. If we ever spend our time focusing on the places where we disagree, we cannot have fellowship. But if we focus on what brings us together, Jesus Christ, then we can have fellowship. We can leave the way places where we disagree to everybody. You can go your own way. That's what you believe, fine. You get. So when I
Yes.
lived in California, the church I went to is a Calvinist church, and I enjoyed fellowship. Awesome. Because for as long as we focus on the Bible, we have no problem. I don't know if I'm. So
Yes,
when you
yes, yes.
have people that have things that, or things that are doing things that are way off, you're going to tell them. They need to know where you stand. Your stand must be clear, but you don't densely then walk with them in a judgmental place whereby they cannot breathe. You know, it's a live and let live. It's a decision they have to make. Christianity is not there by force. Sometimes we force people into the kingdom, and that's why we have a lot of sinners in the church who have no clue who Jesus Christ is, right? Christianity is a conviction. You have to know why you do what you are doing. You must meet Jesus Christ to be a Christian. You are not a Christian because your father is a Christian or your mother is a Christian. It's because you believed in Jesus Christ. It's because you know why you believe. We must help people to get to that place of conviction and not force them into Christianity, because you're not a Christian until you believe. It's right. So I can have fellowship with anybody. It's a matter of what are we focusing on. I have a lot of Muslim friends and we have good fellowship. right? They know who I am. They know who I believe. You see me on Facebook, it's not unclear what I believe. What I believe is clear. That does not mean I
Mm.
can associate with you that does not believe what I believe. I can associate with you. We'll just focus on what brings us together. But I have to be careful that I don't spend time with you on the things that don't bring us together. My focus must be on the things that bring us together, where we agree, where there's an overlap. Because if I focus on the things that don't bring us together, it will influence me. It might influence me negatively. So I have to be careful I don't spend my time on that. You get what I'm trying to say?
Valid point. Yes, yes, sir. Perfect.
I cannot, because someone wants to be is an adulterer, then I'm going to spend time with him in the hotel with girls all around. Then I'm looking for trouble with myself now. You get, but away from the
Yeah.
hotel, we are both sitting down somewhere where just to get ourselves. No problem. We are human beings, so there's something that we can discuss that just the mere fact that we're human beings, we can relate, right? Because
Mm.
so it's about focusing on what brings you together, and be careful that you don't expose yourself to the things that can corrupt you. But then you have to be strong on who you are, because who you are is what is sending out a message.